How's it going, folks? It's James Zamero here at SwitchWatch. It's getting close to Christmas, and that means great bargains across the eShops in the UK, US and EU. Now, we've dipped in and filtered through the reams of sales to find the best ones in our opinion. To mix things up, we thought it would be fun to go head-to-head, give it a battle as we did in our recent top 10 JRPGs list. So me and Juan have each chosen our personal top 5, and we want to know who you think has edged it this time around. So stick around and let us know down below. Now let's get stuck in. Juan, what are you picking first?
Well, James, I'm kicking things off with Monster Sanctuary. This is a monster collecting RPG with inspiration from Pokemon in a Metroidvania world where your monsters have different skills that let you progress through the world. It's an accomplished game that I had the pleasure of discovering and enjoying on my Xbox with Game Pass and on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this 3v3 battle system, complete with elemental tactics and skill system, is a real treat, and if you like a good old RPG game, then give this a go. With 66% off, it's a true bargain. James, what are you going for next?
That's an awesome pick, Juan, but I think I've got you beat with some serious value, as Saints Row 4 Re-Elected has a whopping 93% off. Originally released in 2013, this over-the-top action title sees you becoming the president and seeing off alien threats. It's one of the more popular titles in the crowd-pleasing series, and this Switch version comes with a staggering 25 DLC packs and ad hoc co-op as well. The third game in this series had a shaky port, but I'm pleased to say that on this one, it's a much better job. Juan, what have you got next?
Wow, James, 93% off for Saints Row, that is cheap. Well, I'm coming back with Blasphemous, which is one of my favourite games that has 75% off, so not as cheap as your previous pick, but I think it's very cheap. And if you want a challenging non-linear world to explore, then Blasphemous is the game for you. The combat is absolutely brutal. You can customize your build by discovering and equipping relics, rosary beads, prayers and sword hearts, and there's loads of combinations for you to find your best playstyle. Best of all are the boss battles, which are absolutely epic in scope and huge, dwarfing your character. It's a great game, especially for those that like worlds dark and twisted, and it has its biggest ever sale now with 75% off. Don't miss out.
My next pick is a real classic action RPG. Torchlight 3 is a packed game that builds on its predecessor without reinventing the wheel. If you've played anything like Diablo 3, then you'll be familiar with this one. With a 20-odd hour campaign and more or less limitless replayability, all for just £5.39 or $6, there's a lot to like here. There are countless builds to explore across the classic character classes and so much loot to obtain from dungeon runs that you can play to your heart's content. I don't think you can top this one when it comes to bang for buck. Juan, over to you.
Another great pick there, James. My pick then is SteamWorld Dig 2 for my next one. The original SteamWorld Dig is a fascinating adventure with a wonderful exploration and upgrading loot, where you played as a lovable robot named Rusty. This time around, you play as his friend Dorothy and you're searching for your buddy. Image and form kept much of the same formula. It's still a great adventure about digging in the subterranean world, exploring and using the loot to upgrade yourself, becoming stronger and able to delve further. But what it does really well is in adding enough new features to keep it fresh. One example is that this time around, the underground is not randomized. Instead, it's a sprawling world that feels tighter because it's been crafted very carefully. This time around, the RPG elements have been ratcheted up, the puzzles have become better, and the platforming is tighter, all while set in a gorgeous steampunk world. It's a joy to play and a must for almost anyone. It doesn't alienate audiences like other games.
Now, we're talking about the Christmas period, so you're probably going to be off and have a bit of time with loved ones, and that's where this game really shines. I found myself playing it with my girlfriend non-stop. It's not a bad game when played solo, but it's clearly intended to be played together in local co-op. The goal is to serve up dishes by collaborating. One of you chops whilst the other prepares the food and serves. It's simple at first, but it gets complex really quickly, leading to some genuinely tense and hilarious moments. You can play locally with up to 4 players as well as online, and with 75% off, I do strongly recommend this one. What have you got next, Juan?
How you feeling, folks? I think I'm winning so far, don't you? Well, my next pick is Aragami Shadow Edition. Multiplayer games are fun, but sometimes you just need a solid solo experience, and Aragami is a stealth game that focuses on staying in the shadows. If you get caught, you are dead. Takes you back to titles like the original Metal Gear Solid. Staying away from glorious, powerful moves, it makes for a tactical and interesting game. It isn't perfect, but it's a good title that is worth a playthrough. And with 70% off right now, I think you can't go wrong. What about your next one, James?
I'm sticking with the theme of playing with your friends, and I'm also giving some nostalgia to boot. Back in the 90s, I loved the original Worms from Team 17, the mischievous mayhem that sets your troops against your opponents in turn-based, randomized terrain battles led to some great carnage. Over the years, the series has had some further hits, but also some misses. But to my delight, Worms W.M.D. takes the series right back to its core. Silly and awesome weapons, 2D maps, and devilish voiceovers. The campaign is decent, but playing this with friends is where the true joy really lies.
My next pick with a massive 75% off is Sparklight. It's an action-adventure game that takes place in the wonderful world of Godia. Enjoy the amazing pixel art and wonderful soundtrack by Dale North. The game contains 5 unique and procedurally generated biomes to explore, loads of fun, and the developer has done a superb job of adding more and more content. I think I take the crown with my solid 5 picks this Christmas, and if you agree, then let me know in the comments with a fist pump emoji. James, what's your last pick? Take care, everyone. See you on the next battle.
Nice way to end there, Juan. Well, for my last pick this week, I'm switching gears with the Darkside Detective. This is a satirical point-and-click adventure that could have been straight out of the 80s with its cleverly written jokes and blocky graphics. It opts for gameplay that is logical rather than obtuse. Items you find are needed fairly quickly and logically. It's a short but really enjoyable game, and the soundtrack with its synth sounds is right at home here. Now that wraps up our top 10 bargains this week. Who do you think edged it? If you think I did, as I do, then hit us up with a thumbs up emoji in the chat. And if you think Juan did, which I don't, then hit us up with a fist pump emoji. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, then do consider doing so for a chance to win a Nintendo Switch OLED console when we get to 100,000 subscribers. Happy holidays, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.